Yeah, 120. You know how we do.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a click.
How you starting? Are you gonna like start introduce?
We're just gonna sit down, baby. Make sure my mic works first of all.
I feel you.
All right.
Oh damn, you loud and shit.
Loud and shit. All right.
Wait,
We're here.
What channel he's in? Turn him down.
I can't turn him down. I can't turn him down. This is his house.
I'm here. I'm here for the remainder. Sorry. Hit yours.
I was gonna ask if you could hear that ice clinking in there. No?
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining the company.
Oh, we're rolling right now?
We're rolling right now.
Okay, great.
You go.
Yeah, you stop
Got
moving it.
Yeah. Jesus. So we were talking about earlier. Y'all are doing this tonight.
Yes.
Y'all have one tomorrow.
Yes.
We couldn't do Thursday and Friday because of gigs.
Thursday we are at the Atmosphere in Lafayette. Friday, what I'm doing Friday? No, I'm off Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Saturday's a private wedding at some mansion.
Elms Mansion, uptown.
And
Sunday we're in that Fouchon, bro.
And Thursday afternoon there's some kind of filming thing. We're doing some kind of TV interview thing.
Oh yeah, we're doing a New Orleans musician.com interview Thursday.
That's exciting.
So at one point does it get are y'all done dealing with each other's shit when it comes to
Each other shit? Oh, I don't get tired of his shit.
No,
No?
not at all. I don't think we've ever had a real argument.
But I get tired of other people's shit a lot.
good?
Yeah.
That's good.
That started for me about 6 months ago.
99.
Yeah, for him like a long time.
She was one.
Well, on that, I was wondering too. I want to ask y'all, how long have both of y'all been playing music, like separately, not together?
You go first.
1998 to I don't math me. I went to public school. How long ago was that?
Actually, I
Answer
was
it,
born
baby.
in '98, so 24 years.
24 years. There you go.
My first gig was in 1985. I was in 6th grade.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
You would have shit.
He was about to age you.
Yeah, I was like 32 at the time.
ooh, I was gonna lose it.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense. That's as long as I've been alive.
First bar gig, I was 13.
Was it like? That was gonna sound so bad. I was gonna say, was it legal back then?
Or was it in Fouchon?
It was in
It's down to
Homa,
my-
and my dad had to go for me to get in. It was at Fantasies in Homa.
So you were in like a band at 13.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Opening for Zebra at 13 years old.
Shut up.
Oh, okay.
It's a podcast, baby.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 15, my godfather, Kevin Saban, hit me up one time and was like, hey, man, I had my little teen band going all the time. He was like, hey, man, look, I got this group of guys. I think you know a couple of them. We all getting together on Beck's Barge, and we got a rehearsal. Can you learn the songs? And he sent me the set list, and I was like, I guess. And I'm learning cover songs for like the first time in my life or whatever. And let's get an email out of the blue. I think it was my first email with my email address. I still use it this day. And it was from Jerry Martin. And it was the entire Siamese Dream notation and tablature book for the entire album for every instrument.
Was it cut off t-shirts at hotmail.com?
Cut off t-shirts at hotmail.com.
Sorry.
He said he wasn't going to use it.
I can't wait till Kevin Saban hears that you plugged him in this podcast. He'll be so happy.
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally remember that now. I'd forgotten it, but yeah, I totally remember that.
I showed up, and it was just for Rocket.
We did play Rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket maybe. No, it was just Rocket.
And yeah, the whole book was like 600 pages of PDFs. I didn't learn it, by the way.
He did not.
Shocker.
I have no idea what y'all talking about. Like literally at all whatsoever.
That's good.
Okay. Never mind.
I think he's just making a point in how I over detail.
I've always heard that. So also,
By me?
I know that you play so many different instruments. What did you start on when you were 13?
Guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What instruments do you play, MJ?
Like the bagpipes.
That honestly would be pretty sick.
I saw that.
It's not true. I'm like a novice piano player and a less than novice guitar player.
I like piano though.
But good enough on both of them to be able to write my own stuff. You know?
Obviously,
and
yes.
then turn it over to smart people.
I was about to say, that's got to be a fun thing for both people when it comes to actually writing, to where, you know, you have a song idea in your head, you know how you want it to sound, you know where you want it to go vocally, where you want it to, what I'm just getting to as a writer, where you want it to take the listener, which I found is a very important thing. And then when you hand it off to him, you know, he's able to actually take it and put on those chords that you go, oh, that's...
Yeah, no, I think that was like a huge part of our writing process, and something I never did before was I would try to write songs on, usually on guitar, and my knowledge of it is so limited that there were things that I wanted to, that I knew I could hear vocally, that were in the natural progression of the song, but I just didn't, I wasn't good enough to know it. So what we did this time around, well, the last record and this one, is I started doing most of it through just voice memos, where I would, you know, pick a tempo, maybe a key, and just kind of sing the melody of the song from start to finish, and let him pick those parts out musically. And even sometimes when I went somewhere, he would go to a different place, you know, a chord in the same structure, and I was like, ooh, that's even better than what I thought. Just because he knows his way around a guitar so easily that it's just second nature to him, and he knows where it could go, options of where the song could go, you know, musically. So I think it worked out for the best, and I don't know that he and I will ever write any differently than that, unless for some reason, you know, I get the ghost of Dave Mustaine, you know, takes over my body one day, you know. But no, I think it's been working out great. I don't see us doing anything else. The only other option for me at this point would be, you know, if, like you did with the song the other day, you know, if you come to me with, you know, with full arrangements, and then, you know, we do lyrics kind of afterwards. But that's not really how we write. You know, songs for us are normally stories first, lyrics, then vocal melodies, then music. So it's kind of written in what traditionally I would think is like a reverse order.
That's got to be so freeing as a writer, as somebody like you that's writing the lyrics or the story that you want to write about, and as you as the composer, I guess I would like to call it in that aspect. Because you know your duty.
Yeah.
You know, and that just simplifies it, everything. This is what, you know.
It really does, because, as you know, when you're writing a song, the nucleus of it is the hook. It's the lyric. It's the story. And sometimes that doesn't come, well, most times it doesn't come till the end. And that's the hard part, is coming up with a hook, something memorable. The way we write, it's already there. All I can do is mess it up.
Yeah.
Right? So, and sometimes he'll sing a note that I might play like a C chord, but he might hit a note inside of that inspires a different voicing of a chord that I would have never thought about. So it frees me up a bit, or challenges me also, you know. It's constraining in one way, in that the melody's there, and then this is the structure of the song, and here's the intent and the emotional content, right? So I have to, as a guitar player or songwriter, honor that, but it also frees me up a lot as far as kind of breaking out of the things that I'm used to doing.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that when we were in the studio for the Shovel and Company record. You can check it on those platforms now. Sorry. But when we were tracking War, it was there, I don't know, 80%, and that second verse wasn't written. And I was like, I got a few choruses of songs that I've written before. Let's, you know, see how that works out. When I came up, I showed how I wanted them to sound like. But as a non-singer, like you're saying, with those certain notes inside there, I don't know what notes are available to hit. Right. To me, it's the 1, 4, 5, or the 3, you know, maybe, you know, something like that. And then when you started as a singer, it's different, almost like we were saying earlier with the guitar player thing. Hearing so much stuff, I was like, oh God, yes, just do your thing. And you kept looking back. Is that fine?
Yes, it could.
Do whatever you want. This is your song now.
yeah. I definitely remember that night. Like, that was written kind of on the spot. That was
sick.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know if y'all had listened to JP's podcast, but we had talked about it on there, and that's all I thought about the whole time y'all were just talking about that, was that Bubba kept saying, he was like, I don't know, I'm not really 100% sure how I want it sung, and he was like, and MJ would sing something, and it's good, it's almost there, and he's like, but to move forward and to really push, I don't know which one of y'all said it, push that emotion straight through it, which you could do like with guitar, is he was saying like, yeah, I'll tell MJ the story of like what the lyrics mean, and then MJ just, it clicked and he pushed that emotion through. So it's like you could do it with guitar, MJ, amazing singer, can do it fabulously vocally.
That just reminded me, we're in the studio tracking a new song called Caught in the Rain, and we brought Taylor in to do a solo like last second. Like I just called him, like, come to the studio.
Taylor and all the Red Stick Records, y'all.
Yeah. Hi, Taylor. So he showed up with his kids, like canceled his plans, just plugged his guitar in, never heard the song. He sat down with his guitar, and instead of, he kind of asked me what key it was in. I was like, C? And then he looked at MJ and said, what is this song about? And then MJ explained the whole song to him, and he went, okay. And then he played guitar, and I was like, that was a big lesson for me. Like,
Yeah.
he wanted the emotional content.
To go back to War, that's beautiful. I learned a lot, so much the way doing, I don't want to keep going back to my album, but just having y'all two in the studio in there, you sang a part like she was saying, it was like, yeah, it's there, I need, it's good. And Jerry looked me in the eyes and said, what aren't you saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just not there. Okay, what do you need? And I was like, I don't know, I threw out an adjective. And like, okay, that's what I need to know. And then that just, that kind of thing of, what do you need?
Yeah.
That changes everything. We're here, we're telling a story. I'm trying to do it. We're all trying to do it,
Yeah, no, I think that's certainly important things, especially whenever you're, like I was doing for you at that time, trying to create or recreate emotion from things that were personal to you and not personal to me, So to understand where you were coming from, where's this story going from A to Z, and are we meeting the intent of what you wanted the listener to hear and understand. So I think it was definitely a lesson for me as well. It was the first time I think that I've ever done that. Well, maybe second time, but first time on a project that I really cared about.
Because it was a different type of recording environment to something like that as well, because I wanted to record everything in this room. I recorded most of the stuff in this room, all the music parts and everything, obviously. But the way y'all are doing the new album right now, is it mainly all at Brian's full band on step?
Yeah, we demo every song. We basically do the voice memo thing where he'll send me parts, I'll write the music out, and then we get together and we do full acoustic demos to a click track, send them to the musicians. We get in a room and we play it live. Live. Like drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, all live. We do multiple. Every once in a while we'll do a punch if it takes great and we don't think we can recapture it. We might do a measure. Or if maybe Mark missed a bass note, we'll punch a bass note. Or something with Brian on drums. But for the most part, we're playing live in the room.
It's tracked live? Wow. Okay.
And then I'll take it home and, over, how I work.
You're only doing one guitar part in the studio.
Yeah.
You get home, you send back Brian, here's 32 extra.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And there's some post-production, that stuff that happens. Obviously, when you're doing stuff live, we're lining up kick drum and snare drum to a click track, moving stuff around. But I think the difference, the key difference between this record and the last one was that, Jerry played bass and guitar on the last record. And that was a kind of a fly-by-night decision because something that we had thought was going to happen fell through. And so we did bass and drums kind of live in the studio, and then everything else was sort of just placed on top of that. But this time we had the opportunity because everybody was going to be there.
Yeah.
Like let's just do it all. Let's do it all together in the room. So what was cool was we record these what I call pre-production demos, which we do at Jerry's studio, which is just me singing and playing guitar. And we send that out to everybody who's going to play on the record. to give them time to kind of stew on it and figure out what they may think they want to do, and really just familiarize themselves with the tune, so that when we go into the studio, it's not the first time they heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives them a chance to be creative and write their own parts, you know. So I mean, like Mark Kravanek, for instance, who's playing bass on the record. I mean, he's essentially helping write the song, because everything that he's playing is his own part. You know, it's not like we wrote a bass line and said, "Here, go play this for me." You know, so I think it's a much cooler way to do it.
And it's very interesting for us, because the first time we're hearing these songs with drums, with bass, with keyboards is in the room with everybody else.
I was about to say, that was the point I was getting at.
That's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a little bit of excitement for me. It's like, oh shit, this really rocks.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to keep it together, and I'm also like really excited.
Yeah.
If you ever been to Brignac's studio, there's so many options for drums and drum sounds, and just vocal mics, percussion sounds, anything you want. I mean, he's got a B3 in there. It's all this stuff, right? So it's like whenever you get in there to lay a song down, and you get this drum sound that you might not like, or you might think could be improved. It's like, man, we can get this a little loose, or the snare a little loose, or this bass drum a little more open. We just go do it and then just retrack it, right? It's all there. Like in seconds, we make it happen. So we're not really stuck on anything and married to anything while we're doing it. I mean, it's just a time thing, right?
Yeah.
But for most of the songs, I would say on average, 6 or 7 takes, maybe.
Couple hours at the most, from 0 to 100.
Yeah, of not having a song at all to being done with the song.
We did the whole album in 2 days.
Yeah.
Lord. I was about to ask that. Is that a song a day, or is that just...
No.
We did
four one day and 4 the next day.
Yeah.
And we had 4 one day, 3 the next day, and we had 2 already done.
Yeah, we had 2 already done. We did 1 night before.
Yeah.
And look, when I say we're playing together, we're in the same room.
Mm.
You literally in the room mics can hear my guitar. You can hear the click track.
Yeah.
So if you play a wrong note, we have to do it over.
Yeah. And that's something. One, to go back to the first part, I was explaining that to JP the other day, because we had played downtown Thibodaux on that stage the other day, and he was like, "Man, this is only my second gig with a full band." He's freaking out. I'm like, "Dude, you got musicians with you? Let us do all the heavy lifting. You get your point across, and all we're gonna do is just compliment what you want to do." The second part of that was, we played some of his original songs that I've only did scratch acoustic tracks in here for. And whenever he got to hear it with the band and play it with the band and us dig in, it, blew his mind. He's so excited, makes him, more pumped up to get his stuff out. So taking that aspect and putting in recording with the full band, you're able to dig in for those parts and actually get emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the drums are done first, on the record, you can only get, as emotional or sincere as you want to get with a part if nobody else is doing it.
No, and that's in my past life, any recording that I've ever done was from before these 2 projects was all, you get into a studio, you play it sort of live, you get a drum track down first, and then that drum track, everything is built on top of.
Mm-hmm.
So once you say thumbs up on a drum track, that's it. It's locked in forever, right? And then you start building on top of that drum track. So I think that this way is cooler, because there's literally nothing that can happen where we can't just stop and say, let's do this instead. Let's do this instead.
Yeah. So that's one of the scariest things ever, is that the album comes out and you're like, oh shit. You hear something, and it's not that it's too late, but it's going. Yeah. And that's the best thing about being able to play it with a band over and over and over again.
And not just the band aspect, it's the musical minds in the room that are thinking and stewing and, constantly coming up with ideas. It's not just me in a room in a studio by myself saying, man, I wish we would have done this. Now everybody's gone, right? Like, we're all here. It's like, hey, let's stop for a second. Let's try this.
Uh-huh.
If it's shit, then get rid of it. If it's awesome, then we'll keep it, right? Yeah. That's the coolest part about it,
And as a guitar player, even dynamically, almost every song I kept the part I played on the floor. I thought, I want to play a part that's going to go throughout the entire song, and I'm going to overdub on top of that. And I've tried to replace some parts where I didn't think the sound was great, but what I couldn't replicate was me playing softer in the verses and harder in the choruses, because Brian was killing me with the snare drum. or Travis is looking at me. You can't replicate that.
Yeah.
And I'll sacrifice the sound for that feel any day.
Yeah.
So all those parts that I played on the floor made it. So that's new for me, and
I was about to say, yeah. I mean, that's 100% from my last record. Recording everything in here and then coming out, and I'm like, it's missing a little bit of the authenticity of what a band would sound like when it plays it, because it's Faith. Faith was the first song I wrote. I wrote that song 4 years ago. It got released in June of this year. It never got played as a full band ever. We finally played as a full band. I'm like, that's what it would sound like as a band? Are you shitting me?
Right.
What the fuck is this?
Damn it. Yeah. So I hope we continue to have the opportunity to do that. I mean, unless we're making an electronic dance record, this is the way I want to move forward. I've made records every kind of way, and this has been my favorite so far.
It's like, what's the point in having the people at the top of their game at these instruments if you're not using their minds as well as their ability, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, to be in that room with a Travis Thibodeau or Mark Ravanek or Brian Brignac, and to be able to say, hey, what do you think if we did this, and then just be able to do it, is fucking irreplaceable.
We had one song where the intro was kind of this Chili Peppers type riff thing, and it's like, what if we just turned it into a party and you just did a bass solo? It was like a 16 bar thing, and Mark's like, yeah, okay, cool, and we just tracked the entire song again, and when we got to that part, he played this one take amazing bass solo. We had no idea what was gonna happen, and that's what's on the record.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
But we had no idea what was gonna happen.
So let's take that aspect and move it to where I was just saying, being able to play it live. So, I mean, when did Rust come out?
April 2021.
Okay. So, obviously been playing the album for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
What's one song that, no matter what, still playing with everybody, you do not get tired of playing?
Oh, Out Alive.
Out Alive?
Yeah. I think that's my... I mean, I would say it's always the most streamed song on the record, but it's my favorite one for multiple reasons. I think the main reason is because I think it, as a whole, encompasses the story of the record. So if you listen to it and the lyrics behind it, then you kind of understand what.
Well, is that where Rust is pulled from? That
Rust is pulled from that.
Red turns to blue, gold turns to rust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's sort of the cornerstone of that record, but and also I just love the song, So I think when we first started playing it live, I've always said, I was like, this song will always be played live. Even if we record 10 records and we stop playing all songs from this record, we're gonna play that song.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my
absolutely. Well, let's check that out now.
Last winter, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me there's no chance. You knew it all along. Unbreak these chains and bring me in from the cold. Open up to these whispers and words and pretend it was out of my control. I am not yours, and I am not strong. I am still the man you left, and these still ain't the words to our song. It's been 400 days and 1,000 things I've tried. I just keep walking through the flames. I never make it out alive. Red turns to blue, gold turns to rust. Everything you heard was true. There's no me, nothing else. I'm the elephant in the room. You can see me for miles around. But every step I move closer to you, my love won't ever make a sound. But I am not yours, and I am not strong. I am still the man you left, and these still ain't the words to our song. It's been 400 days and 1,000 things I've tried. I just keep walking through the flames. I'll never make it out alive. Hey. Part of me is empty, part of me is new. All of me is going crazy, crazy without you. But I am just a man, so what I am. But I am not yours, and I am not strong. I am still the man you left, and these still ain't the words to our song. It's been 400 days and 1,000 things I've tried. I just keep walking through the flames. I never make it out alive. I just keep walking through the flames. I never make it out alive.
Thank y'all. That sounded great.
Fuck me.
That was a fun part about doing this whole, the podcast and all. Was because one, I'm connected into the Jean Paul and Company stuff, so it's giving me another outlet. But two, this is acoustic gigs for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm able to do this. We're able to have fun. Able to have like people like y'all on, friends and all. And it just also gets listeners. We recorded one last week, and I went deep into a song, into Heaven, and started explaining some stuff, and she was kind of like, little too deep. But, it gives your listeners, more stuff than they would be able to take from a song or hear from a song like that, because I write a lot of songs that are take what you need songs. I was playing that to JP the other day. And a lot of people do. There is one person, Jason Isbell, who writes all of his songs himself.
No ghostwriters.
Oh, well, I was curious. You don't know. You don't know. I also don't believe Taylor Swift writes her own songs either, and I'll fight somebody on that one.
Well, let's take it to the yard.
Yeah, take it to the yard. because she 100% does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does she really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't listen to much.
It's a really big thing.
Yeah, she does.
I did? Okay, good for her.
Yeah.
She's doing great.
Yeah, she's having a pretty good career. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Taylor, look, if you're watching this,
she missed she missed 0 rent payments this year. Yeah.
For sure.
Not a single one.
They let me off of Ida last year, but that was fucking it.
I wanted to say something too that made me forget. Just the whole thing. I wanted to tell you about that. The also part that's really cool of having different musicians coming on. So my sister watched JP's one from last week, and she was like, I like y'all talk about JP, but I didn't even know he does music, and I really, really like his songs. Like, I think I'm gonna start listening to him. And then so there's that for exposure for one, and then just getting to know people, because like I am Dave Grohl and Stevie Nicks, anything that they do and just want to talk about, I will listen 100% just because I love them so much. So I think it's also really cool for like normal people that might just see MJ from Jumbo and Company or just see Jerry literally everywhere on Facebook and be like, oh, that's cool. Like now you actually get to, you almost feel like you meet them because it's just BSing like this.
Yeah, no. And it's also most musicians, you know, there's avenues out there and different media for you to talk about your songs and songwritings, but in this venue, it's like you get to learn about the person. You know, what kind of movies they like, you know.
Well,
what's your favorite color? You know, like that kind of stuff, you know?
Me and Jerry were just talking about that earlier, talking about how long communication's almost gone between people now. You know, it's almost like a cursing and a blessing as far as the, you know, social media platforms come, because you get on it and that's your life. You know, I'm a victim of it. She's a victim of it, of just staying on the phone the whole time. You know, like we'll sit on the sofa together, you know, then this is a great way for us to actually be able to sit down and have long conversation with people. Yeah. You know, which barely happens anymore. This is the longest I've ever talked to you in my life. We did a record together.
Yeah. We've had long conversations only because we spent a year in the studio together. Literally. But yeah, I was thinking about that even when we were talking about how we recorded live. I was like, am I talking too long? But I think those details are important. It gives us an opportunity to not just say, we recorded it live.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay,
No.
cool.
We recorded it live.
Yeah.
Like we're in the same room. You could hear, like, you know, just the elaboration of the process. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
The opportunity for us to do that.
Yeah, 'cause I mean that's kind of like to go back to that. Led Zeppelin. When the levee breaks, the drums on that song. You know, if you isolate the drums, you hear the spring from his kick pedal hitting. And, you know, when you record it live, you hear something new every single time you can listen to that record, which doesn't happen when you record, you know, track by track, everybody, you know, at the house, whatever like that. You kind of you might hear some other stuff. But when a band plays it together, you know, it changes every single emotional level of where the song should be taking you, you know. Yeah. Which is my whole new thing. I'm gonna keep repeating that all night. Yeah, where the song should.
And look, I can appreciate it done in any way. You know, specifically like genre specific. You know, if I were recording a techno song or a trap song, taking it track by track, line by line might be the ticket. But you know, in this type of environment, it can be done the other way. It could. I do think you lose a little bit of the emotion of the song and just the natural dynamics of musicians playing as a band together in a room. Like Jared was talking about earlier, you know, chorus kicks in and I start playing differently and playing more aggressively with more attack. You lose that whenever you're doing it kind of track by track, and you try to recreate it in post-production where you're bringing levels up and down and things like that. Yeah. But, you know, you can never really truly mimic it, you know.
Now, let me ask that. That's a fun one that I've always wondered. How much, or is it at all, a breath of fresh air whenever y'all are able to go from the wedding gigs to the MJ Dardar gigs?
The balance of those two is really good for me. The MJ Dardar gigs, I love them because they're loose. We have a kind of a revolving door of musicians a bit, so there's more opportunity to stretch out. Different players bring different things. For someone like me who likes to plan, sometimes it's really tough. And our wedding band it's a machine. It's like being in Toto or something. It's like, we say it all the time. We do not even look back. Yeah, the band we're playing with is as solid. I mean, it's
for me as a singer, it'd be like singing karaoke. Like for 110% certainty, there's nothing that's gonna go wrong behind me. I'm just at the microphone with the crowd.
I feel like y'all have to be all so tight, like you were just saying, that everybody is just playing to tracks at that point.
It feels like that. Yeah, that band is so solid. so the comfort level is there. With MJ Dardar band, it's a little bit looser, and I like both worlds. I like to have those two. The dichotomy of those two works really well for me.
And it's cool. I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's typically Jerry, Mark, and Tim and I, right? And then keyboard players is a couple depending on the night. Sometimes we add a second guitar player, sometimes we don't. And based on the band makeup, we'll dictate the set list. It'll dictate, the way that we, approach songs, and maybe even some of the arrangements of the songs, just based on, who's there that night. So it's I'm not saying it's uncomfortable, but it creates a little bit of versatility where we can do different things and cater to some of those other folks in the band's strong suits and things like that. So I think they both have their pros and cons. But the wedding band thing is, like I said, it's so locked in, and to me that there's a bit of fun in just the concept of knowing that I'm going to show up tonight, we're going to play for 4 hours, and there's going to be no mistakes. It will get played like the record from start to finish.
I've never played a gig that ever happened.
And then the crowd's going to be there. They're going to be attentive. It's going to be a party. So all of those variables are out. All you have to do is do your job.
Right. There's no how many tickets did we sell tonight? Is there going to be a crowd? Who's going to be there? Is it going to be filmed? Is
they're turning up. They're doing it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
You're showing up. There's 300 people. They're going to be in your face all night long.
In your face, wanting to be there. And people make fun of wedding bands, like the movie, but the one thing that
I will string you with this microphone.
And I did too before I joined the wedding band. I was all about indie rock and originals, but the one thing that got lost on me is that you're sharing these people's moments. And I remember the night, it was a father-daughter dance, and we did Wildflowers by Tom Petty.
Yes.
Oh.
And I barely made it through the song. It was like, okay, I am creating this soundtrack for these people's lives. And when you think of how many wedding pictures we've been in, how many wedding videos, we've played hundreds of weddings.
Right. Oh, yeah. So, we're probably, 50 a year?
Yeah, probably.
Good Lord. There's 52 weeks in a year, baby.
Shut up, Christian.
Yeah. So, but the whole scene is a butt of the joke a bit with certain musicians, but you're sharing people's moments, their lives. It's a big deal.
I played, I remember I texted you something about it, but my friends Jacob and Mallory got married, and they just wanted me to play background music the entire time, and it was all Landslide, whatever songs, and was nervous because I'm like, it's just me with a guitar playing, but I'm just off to the side. I'm just making spaceship noises at this point.
Yeah.
Just playing, and then I'm like, all right, I got this song when the grandparents walk up, whenever the groomsmen walk up, and whatever. Then right before it started, the wedding planner goes and walks and swaps all of them.
Oh, like it went in different order? So
yeah, and I'm like,
yeah,
trying to get their attention, and she looks at me and she goes,
yeah.
Which she already told me there was going to be a 20-minute break, and I was already about to piss on myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, okay. So I started playing Landslide, which was the wrong song. She looks at me. So I stop it. And then the song I was supposed to be playing is Capo 4. So how do you go from a C to Capo 4? I'm like, okay, well, that would be G. Now at the I am freaking out.
Yeah.
And I think I had texted you before that because I had knew someone else that was getting married, and they wanted me to re-record a song for them to walk down the aisle for. And I was like, how do you do that for a wedding? That's the most important day of their life.
Right.
That is the most stressful thing I could ever think of playing for that when they're walking down. And you had told me a story. It was you got asked to play a song for the father-daughter. It might have been the Wildflowers thing.
That sticks with me.
Yeah. And you had told me that, and you were like, it was the most stressful thing I've I almost had to endure.
Yeah, we're in the entrance of the
where was that one?
Contemporary Arts, CAC, and no, it was the Museum of Art.
Noma. Yeah.
So you're in the big part of Noma where the stairs are, and I think I sang it. I did.
I didn't sing it.
Yeah, I did. So it's just me and a guitar, literally hundreds of people. They're walking down the stairs, father-daughter dance, and I'm there with the guitar, like doing Wildflowers, and like, you know, as a father that has a daughter, it's like, you know, you put yourself in that moment, like.
But talking about that thing, you're talking about how things kind of like switch up on you at the last minute. It's like we've been doing it so long now that I would say like 7 or 8 years ago when I first started in wedding bands, I think it was about that long ago.
Yeah, but
I would get these nervous feelings at the beginning of those gigs. After the first hour of it, you're just playing a show basically. But the first hour is, you know, you got to organize the speeches. There's an entrance song. There's a father-daughter, you know, mother-son, first dance, all this stuff, right? And what I've learned over the years is that, A, those things can change on the spot. So you got to be able to adjust to that. But B, and this is not arrogant at all. It will come off that way, so fuck it.
No.
We know better than they know about how this is going to go. You know, like I'll give you like an example. You know, we'll get this schedule from like a wedding planner, and it'll say, hey, we want you to play. We're gonna do the ceremony, and then we're gonna flip the space, and then everybody's gonna come in, and as soon as it starts the reception, we're gonna go into first dances, and it'll show on the schedule. Ceremony ends at 6:30. First dances at 6:35, and we'll just
look at it. Yeah,
that's never gonna fucking happen, right? And no, I'm telling you. It's going to be like this. It's going to happen. I'm like, okay, it's not going to happen. And then an hour later, we're playing a cocktail set, and they still haven't walked into the fucking room
yet.
yet.
They're still taking pictures.
Yeah, and it's like, trust me. Like, I know this. This happens every night, right? So this is little, like, nuances that you pick up, and it makes you less nervous over time. Because I had this feeling, too, 6 or 7 years ago, about just what Jerry said, where it's like, this might be our 50th wedding of the year, but this is their one wedding. And if I fuck this up, then they're gonna remember this forever.
Yeah, they're gonna talk about this their 20th anniversary.
So I gotta tell you this story. This is fucking hilarious. This is my favorite MJ fuck up of all time. So this is probably I'm gonna say 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, and we're playing a wedding at Patos on the river, and I had to go as part of the MC for the night. I had to go to the ceremony, which was at the Cabildo. So I had to basically go set up a officiant mic, a speaker stand for the officiant so they could do the ceremony at the Cabildo, then basically pack all that shit up, put it in my truck, and drive back down Decatur to get to Paddles in the River in time to beat the wedding party there so we could start the reception. So I'm already stressing about that because of traffic and parking and all this shit, right? So I get there, and we've got in the band that night, it's all of us, plus some horn players from New Orleans. I know Emily Fredrickson was in it for sure, but I can't remember who else. But I remember like one of their first dances was Best of You by Foo Fighters, which I thought was cool. Like, that's a cool ass. Like, no one would ever do that, right? So we had to learn that, whatever. And we get this thing from the wedding planner, from the producer of the wedding. It's like a gig sheet, and it has all the notes and all the things you need to know. But most importantly, it has the name of the bride and groom, their mother and fathers, and then the bridal party, right? So we get set up for the song. I'm sweating, you know. I'm like, we're about to get down to the first dance, and they're walking into the room, and as soon as they walk in, I get on the thing. I'm looking at the names, and I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome for only the second time tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Rob Manetti. And the crowd starts clapping. And I didn't think anything of it, you know. I was just like, whatever. And throughout the night, I said it again, and a few times, Mr. and Mrs. Manetti, blah, blah, blah. And at some point, one of the groomsmen walks up to me, and he says, hey, the groom's last name is Ingram. And that Manetti is the bride's last name. I was like, fuck, man. And I was like, man, I'm going to have to live with this forever. So about 30 more minutes go into the gig, and I start looking at people in the room, and I'm noticing that they're recognizable to me, like in a famous way. And I'm like, who are these fucking people, right?
I had already figured out what we were doing.
The saxophone player for the Revivalist is Rob Ingraham. It was his fucking wedding, dude. It was his wedding.
I saw David Shaw. I was like,
I fucking called him. I called him by the wrong fucking name, his wife's name, all night long, dude. And I was like, I don't know that I've ever fucked that up before or since. But talk about the worst time to do it.
The one.
And Emily Fredrickson, who's a pretty like world-renowned trombone player behind us, she's laughing her fucking ass off too.
she knows Rob, actually.
Yeah. and I'm just like, what? And they're like, you fucked that all up. So I wound up like contacting the producer for the wedding and like, could you please like send them an apology, like whatever, like something, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I could not fucking believe that I did that, and so like now every time I get these gig sheets, I'll look at the names like over and over and over again. Am I getting this right? Am I getting this right? Am I getting this right? And it's like, are these people famous, by the way? You know? So yeah, that was. I hope he listens to this one day. Sorry, Rob.
I'll actually send it to David.
Fuck that all up. Oh man, it's so embarrassing. He's like, hey. The guy walks up and says, hey, no big deal, because he's not mad, because he's like very easygoing, but totally not Minetti. I'm like, shit. And it was funny because I was telling these.
Where did Minetti come from?
That was his wife's maiden name.
Oh,
so it says it on the gig sheet,
yeah.
like her name and his name, right? And I just like crossed them up. But I was telling this joke before the show started because Minetti is the guy's name from Starsky and Hutch. I don't even remember watch that movie. And he's like, those are fucking hand towels. The big towels are up there. He's like, God damn it, he's right, Minetti. Right? And I was telling that story, and no one said anything to me the whole time. And then I fucking called him by the wrong name. I was like, God damn it. Anyway, so yeah, wedding. That's the hardest part about weddings is the first hour. You know, you got to get the names right and announce people the right way. And obviously, you know, the learning the dances, right? A lot of times, I'll say like around here, like in the Houma, Thibodeau, Morgan City area, most of the time the first dances are shit that you typically have heard of. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the Tennessee whiskey, Rascal Flatts, My Wish, you know, like shit like that. But for whatever reason in New Orleans, we usually get these kind of more obscure songs, but good songs. But also songs that we'll never play again. So it's like you get the list of these songs, and then, you know, the producer will contact me, and it's like, hey, can you pull this off? And it's like 3 weeks out, and I'm like, I can pull anything off in 3 weeks, you know. So, like, yeah, you know, we'll do it. So we, you know, you learn these songs, and then you learn them, but then, you know, when it comes down to it, it's like you gotta know them, right? So those are kind of the stressful moments. Is you get through that first 35, 45 minutes of it, and then it's like, dance with somebody all night long, you know. It's all golden after that. But it's that's the stressful part, you know. And the biggest part for me as the like band leader for that band is just to organize all that, you know, with the planners and the bride's mother, and everybody wants something, you know. My uncles, brothers, cousins, dog wants to give a speech, you know, and all that shit. You know, so, you know, all
let them talk on the mic.
Yeah. Which I love, by the way. It's like, hey, talk all you want, man. I'm on the clock. You know?
Exactly.
In the MJ Dardar band, like the biggest challenge is trying to figure out what lyric MJ is going to forget.
Yeah.
You should come to a Jambon Company gig.
That's funny. We were talking about that. The other day. So I'm not gonna say the name yet, but there was a person who was talking shit about me in a public space, and Amber was sticking up for me. She's like, ain't nobody can talk shit about MJ. He's so nice. The only thing MJ ever does wrong is fuck up your lyrics.
I'm the only one that can talk shit about MJ.
Nice.
Only 2 songs that MJ forgets the lyrics for, and it's Faith,
and my
is original,
favorite
makes
song
sense,
ever.
That song.
That song, like, literally.
Oh, the Big Rex song?
Yeah,
Yes.
I texted Jerry a video one night. And like, I don't know, it had to be 4:30 in the morning. I was like, don't have the coolest girlfriend ever. And it's just me drunk as fuck in bed, like shirtless, playing guitar, titty hanging over the guitar.
Screaming.
And Amber just fucking singing the song.
Oh.
No, yeah. Amber just singing the song, and I was like, don't have the coolest girlfriend ever. Jerry just, 2 hours later, thumbs up.
Yeah. Shy.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
I will say, regardless, I cannot tell you how many people have so much fun at Jambon Company gigs. Like, just beyond. Everybody has a freaking blast every single time.
How much
They'll
money
kill
we
it.
gotta make though at the Jambon Company gigs for me to get a shirt though? Because I've been waiting on that for like.
I can show you what the shirt looks like now.
It's not gonna be that mustard yellow shit you try to give me.
No, now it's like half torn off.
I tell him to get me a Jambon Company shirt, so he sends me a picture about how he tried to screen print it, and then half the letters were fucking ripped off of it. He's like, I'm gonna try again later, but the shirt was literally mustard yellow. I was like, when you try again later, then you can pick like any other fucking color.
Dude, I swear to God, we were in Walmart and she was like, just get a black one. And I was like, no, man, I know MJ, he would like this color. Every time I see MJ, he's wearing a fucking black shirt that got a band's name on it, motherfucker.
Shit.
We'll get him to y'all one day. As long as it's not right before a gig. Because I stress out so bad before gigs because Christian always forgets something. It's at least 3 items. To the point where, what's it?
Jerry
the
lives
clip
that life
thing?
with me too, yeah.
What's the clip?
Before I walk out the door, she goes, you have tuner, picks, capo.
Capo, that.
You want some advice? Buy an extra tuner, extra capo, extra picks, and keep it in your center console.
I used to keep them in my purse. Right now I have a tuner and one of his the maroon picks in my purse just in case.
So that's it. I'm very forgetful, as Jerry can attest. I lose stuff all the time, and nothing is off limits either. Like the other day, I did a gig. I lost my microphone. Like, it was like, no microphone. Showed up at a gig, no mic.
The one thing.
Yeah, I was like, this is the only thing that I can't live without, and I don't have it, you know? And it was like, hey, you don't happen to have an extra? And I was like, no. And luckily, it was like rolling around in the back of Deanna's Forerunner, because I basically played a gig at Lumiere, threw all my shit in the back of her car, and I thought it was in there. I thought it was in my bag, and I took my bag out, I'm digging through it, can't find it. I'm like, fuck. And we're like 30 minutes from going on. And luckily, I found it.
So the gig at Lumiere, that was all live? Y'all were saying?
It was recorded live. Yeah, so
Recorded live.
Yeah,
Straight
yeah,
live
yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Did y'all knew before?
I didn't. No, he sent it to me on a YouTube link that I think Mitchell had sent him afterwards, and then I didn't see anything really else about it. And then I was sitting at a bar in Lafayette somewhere, and then somebody sends me a picture of the television at Mahoney's. It's playing live at the fucking bar. Yeah, at Mahoney's.
Nice.
Like the following weekend. I'm like, oh shit.
How long was that?
4 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah. Yeah. So
Original stuff?
mixture.
I mean, y'all do 4-hour gigs.
Yeah.
But I'm just like 4 hours.
Yeah, so what we did we did an hour set. We took a small break, and then Jerry came back. Jerry and I went back on and did maybe 30 minutes, 35
Acoustic.
minutes acoustic,
Oh, okay.
and then another 5-10 minute break, and then we came back on for another hour or so
Full
and
band,
finished it full
knocked
band.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that when you do the full, how many songs was the first album?
7,
7 songs? All right, so you have 7.
which was 6 originals. We covered Anderson East, Satisfy Me
Yeah.
on the record.
Did y'all play any new songs for that with that band?
Yeah, we played, well, the 2 that we've released, which is In the Dark and Mary.
And Mary, yeah.
Yeah, we played both of
And
those.
then we did a couple of other new songs.
And the acoustic
And the
set,
acoustic
maybe.
set,
Yeah.
Those songs, but I'm sorry. Those 2 fucking songs are so good.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
It is so
Thank you.
fucking good.
I don't even remember which ones we did.
Just leave, I think.
Just Leave, yeah.
We have more songs than we need right now.
Yeah,
There's not-
we're ready for record 3, and record 2's not out yet,
Yeah.
so that's where we're at right now.
Do we have some kind of date for record 2?
So the tentative original date was like this September 24th, which won't happen. So we've got, I can't remember the date of it, but there's a Canal Bar show, I think in October maybe, that we're aiming for, and if not that, because we want to do release parties the same night it comes out, right?
Absolutely.
Then we've got a November Varsity Baton Rouge and also a November Grouse Room, and so one of those days will work out. Once we get closer to the production being done and I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, we'll figure out which day is there. But right now, I mean, I'm finished-ish. I mean, I've got a few kind of cleanup things to do. Jared's probably the same. But there's a lot of production that's not been done yet. So
We have one more day in the studio to record a string section.
yeah, we got a string section for a song, and then I've got to record.
So
the
string
album.
section, that's actual strings?
A cello player.
Baton Rouge Symphony.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jesus.
Christian, you better step it up.
So yeah, we still got some work to do. I mean, the rhythm tracks are done. I mean, the song structures are there, right?
Yeah, we're decided in colors.
Right, there's
that kind of aspect.
colors, background vocals, like
pretty much background vocals, percussion. I'm pretty much done.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping by in the next 2 weeks, I can start to think about when we're gonna release it. You know,
yeah, we're getting mixes at this point.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's not gonna be like this long drawn out like Jambon Company thing. Like it's gonna be.
Honestly, it's so hilarious when you say it on the mic, though. I cry.
I wish I had my fucking phone because today I got a 2-year memory. Because last year today was not where I wanted to be. But a 2-year memory of me and Noogie recording the vocals for Faith in Here. And I was like, I recorded that song 2 years before that with Noogie. What are we doing this again for?
Well, that's what's funny. Whenever you first sent me the like the Google sheets of like the lyrics, and then you had some WAV files with Noogie singing, I was asking questions about it, and it was like it wasn't in recent memory, and I'm like, how long did you fucking do this? Like I was thinking you had just done it, and you were sending it to me to redo it, right? But then I figured out as I started listening to everybody tell the jokes that this has been going on for a while.
A long time. But I will say it all came together whenever you sang it. I love Noogie, and I love the way Noogie sang it. I really, really do, Noog. I'm so sorry. But...
Noog, she's not sorry.
She's not fucking sorry, Noogie. So, go back to those other two songs, Mary and In the Dark. Were those the first two written?
They were
In the Dark.
Yeah, In the Dark was the first one written. So I don't think the importance is that whether or not they came first, but they were written as the bookends of the record. So,
okay, so yeah.
It was like Mary was first and In the Dark was last, and then the concept was for everything to come in between those two songs, which is why they were released first. I can't remember if they were first or not, and I mean, again, when you think about the way that the songs were written initially, they were all done basically through voice memos.
Like we were saying, yeah.
So I had them all at some point, like at least the ideas of them all down, right? The story from start to finish was done, and so the concept was that we were going to do the first and last song and release them as singles. And then when the album released, everything in the middle would sort of fill in.
Right? I love that. So, In the Dark is going to be the last?
In the Dark will be the last song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's take a listen to that now.
Ready?
Yeah.
Cool.
No. God damn it, Christian. Can we keep that in the podcast?
Yes. That was all on camera. Perfect. All right, here we go.
Stay with me a little bit longer. Stand with me until we break through. Walk with me until I get stronger. Until 1 and 1 is 2. Was my mistake for wanting to save it. I was trying to hold on, waiting for you. Stay with me a little bit longer and walk beside the things you can't choose. Make me feel surprised and walk me through the night. Things ain't always what they seem. It ain't always black and white. Scream like I'm a nightmare, a dream that's gone too far. All the words, they make me shiver. You only love me in the dark. So make me feel surprised and walk me through the night. Things ain't always what they seem. It ain't always black and white. Scream like I'm a nightmare, a dream that's gone too far. All the words, they make me shiver. You only love me in the dark. All the words, they make me shiver. Oh, you only love me in the dark. Let you watch me fall apart, or mend this broken heart only in the dark.
I think a mud boat just passed.
I hear it. It's a marsh buggy.
I still, that sounded great, by the way.
Thank you. Minus the Kim Meadowlark parts, you know. Jerry, you do a pretty good job.
Thanks.
You're almost as hot as her.
No. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Got an Eminem song. No, but the cars passed and everything. We've been tracking JP's new album. We did 11 songs, 12 songs or whatever. And on the last one, he was like, man, I don't know how... And it's the song Apples. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh, yeah.
No, I checked it.
It's so fucking good.
It's really good.
It's funny. I listened to... JP and I did that songwriters thing with Jerry and Taylor. And I had never heard JP. I mean, I heard his record and his videos he posts on TikTok and all that stuff, but I didn't appreciate how he's a really good singer. I didn't appreciate that till that night. And so, like, humble and naive, you know.
It's actually awesome.
Yeah,
It's charming.
I caught him that night, and I was like, dude, I said, you can really fucking sing, man. And he's like, really? Like, really? I'm like, yeah, fucking really, dude.
Yeah, fucking really, my guy.
Yeah. He looks like genuinely surprised that he's a good songwriter and singer. Like,
Yeah.
And just a good dude. Like, it's like he's the last person to know. Like,
Whenever we attract Apples over here, he was like, dude, I don't know how I want to do it. I want to give it to them. I want them to listen to it. And I just don't know if I want a guitar, drums, anything. And he played it for me. I'm like, well, first of all, I was like, shut up and play it. He played it, and I was like, no, dude. This is what you need to do for that song. Let's put a microphone on your guitar and a microphone on your vocal. And you just sing it, and you just play it. And it's the last song on the record. Mm-hmm. Or let's make it a hidden song. I don't know. Just, it's only you that has to...
Little bonus track.
Yeah. It's only you. That's the only way that song, because there's nobody else that's going to be able to play guitar. He was like, well, look, I'll teach you how to play it right quick. I'm like, I can't play that. Mm-mm. I was like, I haven't gone through that.
Yeah, why would you want to put yourself there?
Yeah, I haven't gone through that. It's like playing for a fucking wedding gig.
Yeah. No,
I was like, I haven't gone through that. I can't do that.
Content delivery, that needs to be all him.
Yeah. He played it, and then I was like, Jesus fucking that night
I got a lot of enjoyment out of watching them with the y'all full band show y'all did for the festival. I forget what it was.
Oh,
I don't
so much enjoyment watching it.
I did. No, which is awesome because like I feel like he probably hasn't experienced that quite as much as some of us.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to go up there and do your stuff and have the comfort of having a backing band, to be able to do songs and not have to play guitar and just sing them, which is what I do in my life, you know. As I always tell people, like if I had to go up there and like play guitar and sing for like anything, it would take away from what I'm able to do because I'd be concentrating on things other than delivering the best song possible, right?
I'm sorry. This is a weird fucking segue. But Jean-Paul & Company album.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of it, I was like, man, MJ, it's really good. You sang the chorus perfectly. I was like, I need some ad-libs into it.
Oh, yeah. Don't even fucking start with me. Oh, I can feel a thing. I can feel it.
So I was like,
I lost my mind in the studio that night.
so Jerry's in the back corner, all the way in the back corner with headphones on. He's fucking eating just Robitussin and whatever. He's sick as a dog. And I was like, yeah, I want you, like, let's think, which is funny because a lot of people ask me if it's a religious album, which I guess because of the name of the songs,
Sure,
what it's about or whatever like that. But at the end of it, I was like, man, I need you to act like a preacher in a church, just going off, just saying all these praise me, Lord, all this stuff or whatever like that. And, okay, all right, that's the energy. That's the energy you need. Okay, I got you. And goes off, start down, ad lib. We listen back and we're like, all right, that's good. You're like, all right, that's it. I'm like, no. Each section add a part. You're like, all right. And he goes and adds part. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I'm like, all right, let's redo this last one. So he goes, all right, redo the last one. And he's sitting there and he goes, wash me in the water, baby. I want you to feel this thing.
That's when I lost it.
Me and Jerry just from across the room.
No,
and locked up.
the best part about it is you kept it.
Yeah, we stopped and we listened to it, and I was like,
Yeah, I sit there.
I looked at you and I remember just covering my face so I wouldn't lose it on mic.
he looks over and he goes, and then Jay goes, is that good? And me and Jerry both had the face of he has no idea what the fuck he just said.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I go, did he just say wash me down in the water? And Jerry goes, and I want you to feel this thing? And he goes, no, I didn't. Robbie was sitting there. I brought that good scotch that night. Robbie was like, I don't know, let's play it back.
Yeah, I think I drank a fifth of Glenlivet that night.
Play it back, and he was like, you goddamn right.
It would have been cooler if it was Bishop's Finger, though, you know.
Bishop's finger.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
I don't know. It just sounds so weird.
I don't even want to know.
No, Bishop's Finger is a whiskey, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, but I feel like there was a story
I
behind
went
it.
to-
No, my brain went somewhere
You
else.
know,
Same.
Yeah, exactly.
Christian song, Feel Your Thing,
Bishop's
Finger. You got, here we go. Now we're
Hey,
in. Now
yeah,
we all come full circle.
That was trouble. I did show
I
somebody
didn't want to
that
have to
album.
explain it for the listeners, but you know.
Oh, no, please don't. My little sister watches. I did have to explain to somebody the other day, though. I was showing him, and I forgot that he's a really religious person. And he was like, oh, yeah, I heard Bubba's new album came out. And I was like, yeah, look, here it is on Spotify. And he's scrolling through it. He's like, Heaven, Faith. He's like, does he sing Christian music? I was like, oh, no.
Well, his name's
No,
Christian, and it's
no.
music.
So it was close, but very, very
Yeah,
far.
goddamn right I do. That's fucking great. That's fucking, no, but
Should have called the record that. That's fucking great.
that's fucking great. The second album. Actually, the second one, you just said we just burned it full circle. The second one is actually going to be called Halfway to Full Circle. So maybe the third one.
All right.
Third one's
I
gonna
like
be
it.
Perfect Circle? No?
No.
I thought it was funny.
No, I tried to buy the trademark. They didn't let it. It's fucking great. No, that was it was awesome having you on that, because that was a song that's probably the most personal song that I've ever written. That song at first was called Red, and the chorus was the second verse of that song, where it's
oh God, I don't know. I don't know what verses.
sights aimed at my head, all covered in red.
Yeah.
I screamed out, "Now tell me what this all about."
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
And then that's when I was like, you were like, "How do you want me to sing that last part?" I scream out, "Now tell me what it's all about."
Oh, that's when we did. Tell me what it's all
Yeah.
about.
And that's when Jerry jumped up and we're like, there needs to be a harmony on top of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, jump up and do it. You don't want me to do it. And he jumped up and he had like bronchitis times like 1,000 or whatever. And it was good.
Thank you.
You did way better when you restarted.
Yeah. So, question for you: were those songs kicking around the Calling Home time? Some of them, because I don't want to say they sound familiar, but I remember when we were working on songs after the Calling Home record. They sound familiar. Like, I always wanted to ask you that.
One of them he stole from Whiskey Myers. One of them. I can't remember which one.
Oof. I mean, he's not wrong.
I can remember because I called Mr. Whiskey. No, the chorus for War, I wrote in 2014. Wrote it down. I was like, man, I want to do something with this. And then actually yesterday day before was 3-year anniversary for Mama Said that we had tracked.
Right.
And I came out with the chorus for War before that, and I wanted to give it to Calling Home, and I was like, they wouldn't get it. It's not gonna be delivered the way I want it to be delivered.
Yeah.
I thought I remember you playing me some of that stuff though, but back then.
I remember Jerry and I were on the way to Audio Smith. I think first night we were gonna do vocals, and he's like, "You got those songs on your phone?" I was like, "Yeah." So we listened to a couple of the tracks, the original Wave Files you had sent with Noogie singing, and even in their raw form, like I knew like from the get go that War was gonna be solid. Like the hook was already there. And that was even without really understanding the song, like just hearing just the melody of the hook. I was like, this is a well written song. Mm-hmm. So I knew when we went in there that one was gonna kill. I actually really, I don't know this for certain because you can never tell, but when you look at your songs on the Spotify, they're typically in order of, I believe, in plays, right? How many times they've been streamed. And Heaven is like the 5th one.
Yeah, it's the last one.
And I that's my favorite one. And it's not, I don't think it's commercially as good as War. I think that's probably the best one. Yeah. But I just love the lyrics of the song, everything about it. Another thing too is like I always have this concept in songwriting where like the best song you can write is the song that you can get to the point in the shortest amount of time. Like I can tell you the story from here to here in 3 minutes, and to me that song is better than if I can get to here and here in 6 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And War is, I mean, Heaven is, it's a verse and a chorus and a verse and a chorus and that's it. But it's very, very powerful in just those 2 lines, right? And so I just felt like from a songwriter's perspective, it was very well written, and it got to the point, the quickest. So I really love that song. I always appreciated it from the get-go. And even like when we did, I mean, I got the first couple rough mixes back from you and Rob and let a few like select people listen to it, and they were like, wow, the song's really good. So I always did like, that's always been my favorite. I mean, it would always be my favorite one from that record.
That one, I mean, so that song, if you want to get deep for a second, is actually
oh, you can feel a thing.
Yeah, how deep this song is, and you added that on top of it, made it just so much better.
Just digging ditches with that thing.
We're going back and re-recording.
Like a ditch witch.
Well, I got a whiskey do, whiskey don't, motherfucker.
Well, welcome to my life.
You can imagine Jerry just being like, man, MJ, we need a so we had this last song on the record. You had this one part, let's work on it. Fucking MJ just yeah,
Yes.
boss.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm showing up.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you got.
Mm-hmm.
But that song, like I was saying earlier, was originally called Red. The second verse, where it says, sights aimed at my head, all covered in red. I screamed up, now tell me what's this all about, or however it goes.
Screamed out.
What you mean, however, she knows.
I screamed
You
out.
should fucking know. When I was 12 years old, me and my dad's ex-wife went to the Walmart in Houma on Martin Luther King. And we were just shopping around, wasting time. My sister was at school at Vanderbilt in the after-school band, whatever, so we were just bullshitting, walking around, and after we had checked out, we're walking out, and I heard two loud pops. And in my mind at that time, it sounded like balloons.
I mean, you're on Martin Luther King, so it's probably gunshots, you know.
So I keep walking, and there's glass all over the ground. And I was like, what the fuck? And I looked, and there was two Timberland boots. And I looked up, black jeans, white beater, and a gun pointed at me. And he said, not you. And pointed the gun to the left and shot this woman in the head.
While you was in fucking Walmart?
Walmart, Martin Luther King. You could look this up.
Bruh.
And you were like 12?
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
So shot her, and it ended up being her, his like girlfriend or some ex-girlfriend or whatever like that. She was working at the old photo shoot spot they used to have right there. Now it's just like a little fucking grocery.
Yeah, the little 1 hour
Oh.
photo booth doing, yeah.
Yeah. And he shot her and then ran off, and I was just fucking standing there like, what is a 12-year-old supposed to fucking do? And my stepmom at the time came and grabbed me, and she ducked me off behind a fucking ice machine where you can grab bags of ice. She was like, stay right here. And she ran off, and then cops showed up, whatever, and they grabbed me, and I like had to give a full description and everything of the guy, and I was still just chilling, like panicking the fuck out, didn't know what the fuck was happening or whatever. Gave the police report in the back of the car, you know, and they ended up finding the guy, whatever. But those lyrics, sights aimed at my head, all covered in red. When he shot her, it fucking.
Wow.
Well, now I'm never gonna forget those lyrics. Jesus Christ, dude.
Fuck story.
You should have shared that with you while you were tracking. it.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, and then I'm making the Martin Luther King gunshots joke, and he's like, no, really. Somebody tried to fucking shoot me. I'm like, I mean, it's homo, you know?
It's home.
Wow.
You on the good side.
Okay,
homo,
now
too.
though.
Well, yeah.
No.
Can we
Okay.
re-record it?
Yeah, fuck. Damn,
Wow.
Christian.
I mean, well, that's it's something like that happens. It's something like the song "War" that happens, where we were saying I didn't want to share it on the album, because it was too personal for me. You know, I was like, I don't want to give these guys this and then just go and just. We were too young at the time for them to understand the emotions I needed out of them to actually record it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
That goes into, you know, I still have songs from that Calling Home album that didn't make it. You know, I have one that I got JP over here the other day. We tracked it. It's a weird thing to sit on a song for so long and to not do anything with it. So how many songs is the new album?
It's 9.
9?
9 probably, yeah.
I think 9.
Yeah.
9 songs?
Mm.
God, it's fucking long.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote a lot of songs. We didn't finish a lot of songs. I think we finished 12, 13.
Yeah. I mean, basically what we did was we got in a call with me, Jerry, and the 2 producers, and basically had sent them all the demos. And it was like, everybody sort of got a vote, you know?
Hey, well, except us.
except with us, right?
So-
Because ultimately I knew I had the
would
last.
like to know how
ulti-
that
ult- ultimately I knew I had the last vote. Like I was like, even if I want something bad enough, it's fucking going on the record, right? But I wanted to hear other people's opinions, and I think we wound up just going with the consensus.
Yeah, we didn't put up any fight,
Yeah.
even though. So it's not easy to sit there and have people say, this song, we don't think this song belongs on the record, and some of the songs they didn't pick, probably my favorite songs.
Yeah, like I mean, we're gonna play one a little later for you. This kind of acoustic song that we put together right at the end. That I threw it in the mix at the end, and was sent it to them, and I honestly thought that they would pick it.
I thought they were gonna pick
I thought
it.
they would, and then when it came back, it was just like, maybe not for this one. I don't think it's ready. Blah blah blah. But when it was all said and done, I accepted what they said, and then I told Jared, I was like, we're gonna record that song at some point.
Yeah, that song is getting recorded.
Yeah.
And then literally the day that we had the conference call with the label, we turned in a song that we weren't even caring about. Like, I almost didn't send it in.
Same, yeah. Like we did a pre-production, and I thought nothing was wrong with the song. It wasn't exactly what I had envisioned for it, and I'll tell you this, just like a background on the writing thing. Normally, the songs are generally written between Jerry and I in a shorter amount of time than they last.
Mm-hmm.
Like we finished
Fast.
in like a minute and a half. The song is like I know what parts are in the song and it's over, and then we just have to record it, right? And this song, it took work. Like it was like there was a version of it. And I was like, and it was like speed it up, slow it down, and it was like I don't like this, I don't like that. Like we hem-hauled on it for a while, and finally we had something, and I was like, you know what, that's good enough. Let's just throw it in the box, and give it to the label. And then that was one of the first songs they called out.
It was like the second song
yeah,
they picked.
I was like, holy shit, I didn't think that one was going to make the cut.
I didn't even think they would have listened to it. We waited till the last day.
But you got to realize, too, like, whenever you're doing this, I mean, I know you know this, as a songwriter, you listen to something over and over again, and you're, like, to yourself, and even, especially if it's been around for a while, and it becomes noise at some point. It becomes like white noise, where you can't hear it like it should be heard. Like someone else has to hear it, and no one else had ever heard it. So it was just like, to us, I sent Jerry the voice memo for this song during the first record, and we tried a couple things out, and it didn't work, and then we just shelved it. And then when we came in to start writing for this record, I was like, well, let's not forget about this song. Let's see what we can do with it. And then nothing ever really was like gotta have it, and so we finally, during pre-production in his studio, we put something together and put everything in a Dropbox file, sent it to the label, and it was like third song, something.
Yeah.
And they were like, yep, that's got to be on there. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, they didn't even, like, there was no critique of the song. Like, that song's on
Yeah,
the
that song's
record.
on it. I'm like,
And then they moved on to the next song.
yeah.
It was like side text. What?
Yeah, I was like, why is that on there?
Okay, guys.
Yeah. And so because it was so high on the list, I was like, I'm not gonna kick it off because clearly they're hearing something that I'm not hearing, So I didn't want to just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And
we ended up revisiting it after that and changing it. We changed the tempo.
change the tempo. Yeah.
Just because, like, I had to really, like, get outside of myself and go, what is bothering me about the song? Is it the lyrics? Is it the music? It just didn't groove the way I wanted it to. So we changed the tempo, and it changed everything. I love it. I mean, it's probably not going to be like a big single from it, but, like,
Yeah. It was like a low to mid tempo song, which to me is always weird. It's like the songs are great if they're slow or they're fast, right? It's like the mid tempo stuff is kind of always weird. Like it's got to be really good to be good, and this one just was lyrically is important to the record, which that's one reason why I'm very excited about it being there, because it makes a lot of sense for this. The record's called The Reason Why, but in my mind, it's the story of Mary, which is the first song. It's like the record is the story of Mary, and this song is critical to that. And so I'm glad that it made the cut and that we were able to put something together that would make it. But just the idea that it was so high on their list was really weird. And that song is called You Like It, which we will, you won't hear that till the record comes out. But
Yeah, because I don't remember it. I
So
don't
we're
remember.
not about to play that right
No,
now. I'm about to say.
We are not gonna play that.
I don't remember it.
No.
I was sitting over here trying to figure out how to segue, and then we're doing this.
No segues. You'll hear it whenever
Yeah,
it comes.
I mean,
Nice.
we're gonna probably play an unreleased song that may or may not ever come out. And
Yeah, so I mean, I think the segue was that the song that got cut was the last song that we wrote together before we went into the studio. This was a song. So the song was weird. So I had a friend of mine who's an event planner in New Orleans. Her name's Angela Babin, and she sent me a kind of like a book of lyrics, and she wanted somebody to help her write songs. And out of these lyrics, which for me is easy because that's how I write songs.
Exactly how I
Yeah.
write songs. Yeah.
So she gave me a few things, and I sort of handpicked the stuff that I liked from multiple songs, where they made sense. It was like I didn't necessarily pick it from one place, and I grabbed a couple of things that she had done, a couple of lyrics that actually Jerry had done, and then there was a song that I wrote probably back in, let's say 2003 or 4, and the song at the time was called So Wrong, and the band I was in was called Radio Dive. For everybody that's listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And so it was a montage basically of those three things like all combined together musically and lyrically, and once it was all put together I was like, fuck, this is great. And I really thought it would have been one of the
especially
top
lyrical
one.
content.
Lyrical content was, I was like, this is gonna be one of the ones I picked.
So timing, I never did ask you this question. We were writing for another project that may or may not happen, and I remember we were texting, and I said, well, what about this lyric? And I sent you the lyric while you were working, I guess, on the song. You're like, no, we're keeping that lyric.
Yeah. No.
And then a minute later, you sent me a video of that lyric in a song.
Yeah, that was it.
So you were sitting there writing the song?
I was writing that song already.
While I sent you the
While
lyric?
you sent me the lyric. When you sent me the lyric, I was like, oh, this would be cool right here. And then I just added
I'd never asked you that question,
No,
but I
that's-
was like, I'm driving back from New Orleans. I sent him the lyric from my notepad. 5 minutes later, he sends me a video of the song.
because I was in the middle of writing this song,
Oh.
and something was missing from the chorus, and I couldn't figure it out. And then when he sent me the lyrics, and I was like, I kind of added a new part to the beginning of the chorus, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is fits. All right, here we go. So then I videoed myself kind of play it and singing. He's like, you just did that? I'm like, yeah. I mean, generally speaking, for the last 10 hours.
It just came up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like, you kind of wonder when timing happens with stuff like that. Like, out of the blue, we just like, hey, check this lyric out. He just happens to be sitting on a bed.
While doing it. Yeah.
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 That goes into the whole one of my favorite ideologies of it, or quotes or whatever, is John Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
That you can write a banger.
Don't even get me started. I love John Mayer.
Yes.
You can write a banger and you're like, this is it. This is the song. Might have been my heaven. Which I at first, actually, when I was recording the song, it was Hella High Water. I was like, that's a single. And you were like, nah, dog, where's your single?
Yeah.
And Robbie looks over and goes, nah, dog, where's your single?
No,
Like,
I knew War was a single from the get.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. From my aspect, I'm like, Hella High Water, that's it. That's a single. You think you write a song, and you're like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to go fucking nuts over it. And then you go and you release it, and it's going to explode.
But like when you are John Mayer, like you're probably like you're probably like smarter than that. Like you can figure that out on your own. But when you're like me, like you gotta let other people hear.
Well, that's what I'm.
You know
That's
what I
where
mean?
I'm getting at, is when you're like, this song's.
And John
fucking
Mayer
it.
has probably got a big enough schlong to be like, I don't care what you think is the best song, just the fucking single, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't have that. I mean,
Oh.
I got the schlong, but not the
But where he's like, no, this isn't.
Everybody just caught that. All right, cool.
Yeah, it was like,
You were trying so hard to be positive.
No, Jerry has those nice headphones.
it's like metaphorical schlong, though.
Metaphorical schlong.
Okay.
Yeah, wash me down in the water. I want you to. But he's like, man, you got this song, and like that's gonna be it. It's gonna fucking explode, and then you give it to the people. You give it to the people, like you were saying. It's when you listen to a song that you've written for a long time, it just becomes white noise at that point.
Yeah.
Then you give it to fresh ears, and they're like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, one thing I said this in another interview before, but one of the things that I did this record that I didn't do on the last one, when we recorded the last record, we did we did pre-production tracks. We went in the studio and did rhythm tracks. We added keyboards. We added guitars.
Horns.
We added horns. We added
two different horn sections.
We added scratch background vocals. We added real background vocals. And through all those iterations of every song, I listened to them all incessantly. And so by the time I got the mixes for the songs that were going to be on the record, I could not even hear these songs anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
It was just fucking jumbo noise in my ear, right? Jumbled noise. And when the record came out, I listened to it on Spotify the first day it came out, and I literally never put it on again for months because I had just heard it so much. And with this record, I did the opposite of that. Like, we did the pre-production. I listened to them all to make sure that I was comfortable with the pre-production. When the studio did all that, sent everything, everybody had everything in their Dropbox files, and it was, and that's the stuff they're working on now. And now Robbie is sending me mixes of the songs that are, the comped vocals with all the parts that everybody's done. And I'm listening to those. And I won't listen to these songs again until we have mixes, like full mixes of the songs, because I want to be able at the end of it to understand what has been done from start to finish. So I feel like I can't do that if I listen to literally every iteration of the mix.
I am gonna chime in right here, right now. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because Christian used to be so annoyed because he would be like, "Oh, baby, Robbie just sent me this. You want to listen to it?" I'm like, "Babe, we're gonna eat supper with your grandparents. Like, let me get in that mind frame." And he's like, "No, shh." And he just puts the radio loud. And if I try to say anything, like any little critique, he turns it down. "Well, now what, Amber?" I'm like, "Well, baby, I've heard it like so many times already. You didn't hear this one part that changed." He listens to every single last little thing. And then he would also get...
Well, it did go on for 2 decades.
Literally since we've been together. So since we've been together, I've been having to listen to this same fucking shit.
5 songs.
Literally five songs.
5 songs.
And that's why I know the lyrics so good, because guess where my head lays? Directly on the other side of where that pallet board stops, or whatever stops. And that's why I know the lyrics so good, because he would listen to it and listen to it and listen to it, and it became white noise to me. It was, I just love that you said that, and that's all that was. I love your music, baby, and I love you. I love all of it. But at one point, it was just...
You got to be able to almost forget it at some point. About 2 months ago, funny because Jerry always tells me I forget lyrics to songs. Most of the time, it's to my own songs. And there was a couple of points. It was Read Your Mind. Every time we play Read Your Mind, something goes through my...
That's that funky one?
Yeah, something goes through my head where, I forget how many times we do stuff, And it's not the words, it's just the arrangement I forget. So we're playing this show in Thibodaux. It's Untapped. It's a beer tasting event for, DSLD Homes or something like that. And at the end of the show, after I had fucked it up, he says, "MJ." I was like, "What?" He's like, "You ought to listen to Russ, dude. It's a pretty good fucking record." I was like, "Motherfucker, man." So I literally, that week, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go. I need to go re-listen to this." So it had been almost a year since I heard it, and I put it on. I listened to it from start to finish, and I was like, "Cool, I love this," or I wish this would be different, or I was able to critique it from an outsider's perspective because I hadn't heard it in so long. And that's one thing that you lose if you listen to every version of every mix all the way through the process. So I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm purposefully Rob will send me a mix, I listen to it one time, and it's I don't like this, I like that, I want to fix this, and then I just put it away and I wait for the next one. Because if I just listen to it over and over again,
But your job's gonna be way different than that, right?
Not so much. I'm not obsessing.
Still try to do the same thing?
I'm not obsessing about it. When I listen to a mix, I have a notepad open, and it's gonna be first gut reaction of this needs to be loud or this. I'm not gonna drive myself crazy because
I feel like that's all maturity at that point.
Yeah, because Russ really did kind of drive us crazy.
Yeah, it wore me out.
Yeah.
It did.
And this record's every mix sounds really fresh to me. Like it happened fast. It was easy.
Another thing too for Russ was like I self-imposed a release date on everybody to like rush the record. So like what I did. So like we went in the studio and recorded everything, and then I contracted out an artist to do the album cover. I put the songs in order that I wanted them to be in, and I set a release date before the record was ever done.
Before we made the record.
Yeah, before we made the record.
I had the album cover and the back cover with the songs in order.
Yeah. Before
we recorded it.
Yeah. And so like they would, of course, that the intent was to apply pressure on the people that were doing it.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Y'all really like each other.
Yeah.
Because I would have told you, fuck you, a long fucking time ago.
I wasn't worried about him telling me fuck you. I was worried about Robbie, but Robbie actually loved it. Like Robbie was like, no, I like this. This gives me kind of like a marching order of like what I need to do and what I need to do about it.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's very big schlong energy.
Big schlong energy, yeah.
But also,
but it put pressure on everybody, but pressure in a sense on me too, where like I felt like I had to give critique of all these mixes because I didn't want to wait 2 or 3 days or not listen to something and him come down the road and be like, well, the reason why I'm not done with this is because you didn't do this. So like I could listen, give you timestamps of stuff and we keep fixing it to where this record, like I made it clear to everybody, like we're on no time constraint. Like there is no release date. Like these are the songs. Whenever they're done and we feel like we're in a good place where we can pick a release date, we will. And I think that's where we are now. You know,
we're close.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's gonna work out.
So we're gonna do this. Here's a song that you're not gonna hear on the album.
I wrote a letter yesterday to give you the reasons why I can't stay. And it's just like a goodbye kiss. The very first line starts like this. Yesterday was music for my soul. But now these old records are getting cold. And when you stop believing we were good from the start, then I'll stop pretending I didn't break your heart. And now that this life is mine, you don't get to love me all the time. Life doesn't love me the way I need to. Too many times it's bitter, now I'm through. Someone new to take my hand and lead me to what I know is true. Yesterday was music for my soul. But now these old records are getting cold. And when you stop believing we were good from the start, then I'll stop pretending I didn't break your heart. And now that this life is mine, you don't get to love me all the time. And you're the reason I lost myself. And even though you love me, I'm somebody else. Always in life, you don't get what you want anymore. I promise myself this time forget what I came here for. So when you stopped believing we were good from the start, then I stopped pretending I didn't break your heart. And now that this life is mine, you don't get to love me all the time. And you're the reason I lost myself. And even though you love me, I'm somebody else. Oh, sugar, I'm somebody else. Even though you love me, I'm somebody else.